Hi and welcome to the members update from the Teagasc Research Facility. So for this month's edition, we thought we'd just kind of go back to more the basic production numbers from the unit. So we'll have a quick look at just the sows in the farrowing house, piglets coming out of there. We'll look quickly at the weaners and finishers, and we'll talk about the service area as well. And I'll just touch again on the baby feed system that we have in use again on this previous batch that we just weaned out last week. So we weaned out around 13 piglets per sow last week. 21 of the sows that came out were reserved, so 6 gilts went into that batch. So to give it a little bit of background, I suppose the baby feed trial that was in use in that weaning was sows over 4 treatments. Now the treatments were the sow with her litter, say with no creep, no additional creep given throughout lactation, the sow with her litter and creep, and then the baby feed was 2 of the treatments, which would be the sow with supplemented milk from the baby feed and the sow with supplemented milk transitioning into a kind of a creep type of mixture. So I suppose the interesting things, the numbers weren't that massive, it was only about 4 or 5 sows per treatment, but the interesting things from our side really was we had no issues with sows coming in heat. So all of our sows, all of that 21 sows that I mentioned that were retained for service were on heat on Monday or Tuesday morning as normal. If you remember from my last update video, I would have said that we only had 19 out of about 26 sows on, but that was in relation to kind of the baby feed being turned on and turned off, so that wasn't a fair kind of judge of the system. So this was more a normal routine, so we're very happy with that result from a service point of view. I suppose coinciding with that, then we were kind of worried about how the litters which were on just the sow, so no supplemented creep, so these piglets have only had liquid milk up until weaning, how they would fare and how sow condition would fare. So we're very happy with sow condition as well. There was no obvious effects on any of those sows. Obviously it did transfer into our weaning weights, because the weaning weights from that entire batch of piglets was 7.8 kilos on average, when our year-to-date average would be 8.3. So obviously we had some additional weaning weight gain on pigs with on the baby feed, supplemented milk and things like that, and obviously some reduced weight gain on the pigs who were just reliant on the sow. The baby feed, while we're just touching on it, will be put back in use for sows coming into farrow. They're coming in this week, farrowing next week, so we'll have more data on that over the coming weeks again for the next weaning. That trial I just talked about was rep 1 of 4, so there'll be 3 more repeats of that. While just looking at another thing, you notice, we'll be going through some figures for the 9-month period, kind of year to date, in comparison of the last 3 or 4 years in the unit. And our born alive figure is up about 1.5 pigs on where it was a year and a half, or sorry, in 2018, we're up 1.5 pigs, and that has us currently at about 16 pigs born alive year to date, and our last 3 farrowings then have been between about 16 and 16.7, so there probably is potential for that to increase as the last quarter of the year goes out as well. So our born alive may well be above 16 by year end. The weaner side of the house and the finishers is very much as is. No real change there. Mortality is around 1% in both sections, and our transfer weights still are around the 32-33 kilo mark, going across at, you could say, about 45 days post weaning, and we're still selling our pigs at an average of week 22, so we sell them week 11, 12 and 13 in the finisher area. Our weights are still climbing, so our carcass weight year to date is still just over 90 kilos. Our last few loads have been a little bit heavier than that, so that might go out a small bit more towards year end as well. Just trying to get pigs out before Christmas. So that's the update from the research facility for September. We'll talk again in October, and I'll see you for day 1 of the virtual pig week, where we'll touch on some more of the issues that we've discussed today a bit more in depth.